This program is brought to you by Virtual Accounting and Reporting Solutions. Virtual Accounting and Reporting Solutions is an outsourced accounting company delivering forward-thinking strategies with innovative ideas and technology to help businesses run their finances efficiently while they manage the strategic aspect of the business. We serve small and medium-sized businesses in Northern Virginia and the District of Columbia. By utilizing cloud-based ERP accounting and financial management software, we deliver real-time visibility into financial and operational data, deliver enhanced reporting and centralized dashboards, and collaborate in real time using live data. Virtual Accounting and Reporting Solutions delivers a complete accounting solution to small and medium-sized businesses anywhere from any device. The results are improved productivity and efficiency, greater transparency, and lower overhead costs to your business. To find how we can help you achieve your goals, contact Virtual Accounting and Reporting Solutions at 703-539-0331 or email us at info@varsllc.com.
And now, Fairfax Breakfast Club with your host, Basile Lemba.
Welcome to the Fairfax Breakfast Club show. My name is Basile Lemba and I will be your host. The Fairfax Breakfast Club is a weekly program in which we bring to you valuable and workable know-how you can use to improve your networking skills and grow your business. We always start the show with a quote. And today's quote is, "No nation was ever ruined by trade." And that is from Benjamin Franklin. With us today in the studio, we have someone who's entrusted with the responsibility of helping and boosting the trade. And that is the SBA District Director, Mr. Antonia Doss. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon. Good to see you.
It's in here. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Well, I've been working on it for quite a while, and finally we succeeded to make that happen.
Glad that we did. Glad that we did.
Okay, I wanted to have you on the show because I think that you definitely have the SBA. The SBA has a lot of materials and services, but my concern is that they are not much known.
Okay.
Or not as much as they should be.
Right.
So would you just please tell us the different section and services that the SBA provide?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. Okay. Well, and I think maybe the first thing, if it's okay, if I could just start a little bit with who we are in terms of what market area we cover.
Sure, absolutely. That would be great. Yeah.
So our Washington Metropolitan Area District Office, and I think we've got a slide showing now that will demonstrate our geographic area. So we cover the communities of Montgomery County and Prince George's County in Maryland, Washington, D.C., and then also the Northern Virginia marketplace. So Fairfax County, Alexandria, Arlington, and the cities of Falls Church and Fairfax, et cetera. So we're here in the metropolitan market area to serve small businesses and to help them be successful. That's our mission, that's our focus, that's our goal.
Okay, good. Excellent.
One of the things that we're really focused on now is this notion of inclusive entrepreneurialism. And by inclusive entrepreneurialism, what I mean is that we want to make sure that we are reaching all segments of the community, all segments of the market, and particularly we're having an intentional focus on making sure that the programs, the initiatives, the products, the services, whatever it is that we have and we offer, that it's delivered in such a way that all segments of the community are able to benefit from it.
Okay, I have a question on that. Now, does that mean that it was not inclusive in the past then, or we just doing an expansion of some sort?
Yeah, we were always looking to be inclusive, but as you said earlier, sometimes people know SBA and sometimes they don't know SBA. So we're trying to improve that. Also, our new administrator, Maria Contreras-Sweet, when she came on board, one of the things that she recognized was that we could do better as an organization in terms of having outreach and having our constituents know who we are.
Okay.
And so she's also encouraging us to be more inclusive in our entrepreneurial efforts, so to make sure that we're
not just wait for the guy who come to the door.
Exactly.
But go out to other people and tell them you are here, you can service them.
Exactly. And we're reaching out to all geographic segments as well as all ethnicity segments.
Got it. Okay. Excellent. Okay.
So that's a big component of what we're working to do now.
Okay.
In terms of what we offer, your first question, our three major segments, and there's a slide that talks about the 3 C's of SBA.
Oh, the 3 C's. That's
3 C's. So that makes it real easy.
Okay, all right.
So their counseling, their capital, and then there's contracting.
Gotcha.
And so I'll talk just a minute, maybe if it's okay, about each of those.
Absolutely.
So in terms of counseling, we think that's one of the most valuable things that we offer. We have a number of resource partners, and they're shown on the slide, whether it's SCORE, the Small Business Development Centers, or our Women's Business Centers. Each of those entities are partners with us, and we fund each of those entities. And they have an objective of working with entrepreneurs, whether they're in the startup phase or an existing phase, if they're working to grow their firm, or in some cases they're looking at how they do an exit strategy.
Gotcha.
Our resource partners work individually, one-on-one with the business owners, the entrepreneur, and they provide them with free counseling, free business advising, mentoring, if you will.
Is that where SCORE fit in?
I'm sorry?
Is that where SCORE fit in?
SCORE fits, exactly. Yeah. SCORE is, and in SCORE's case, these are volunteers. So these are persons who have been successful in business, either in a corporate setting or sometimes they've owned their own businesses, and they've decided to share their expertise, their learnings with those people who are working through some of the same challenges.
Gotcha.
So it's a great way to get access to knowledge that entrepreneurs may not have in-house within their own person or within their executive team of people. So this individualized coaching is a great way for business owners to figure out solutions to challenges that they have, to get connected with resources, and to have a sounding board that can help them make good business decisions, help them improve their business acumen.
Okay, very good.
So again, so we've got the 3 C's. The second C is related to capital. And so capital is always considered to be the lifeblood of an organization. Sure. It's a critical thing. If you don't have capital, it's hard sometimes to actually make the things happen that you want to have happen in your business.
Yeah.
So we've got a series of loan programs and products that we offer in conjunction, in partnership with lenders, whether they're at banking institutions or non-bank lenders, to help firms be able to get access to the money that they need to run their business.
Okay. Now, what is the process?
So the process, it's a good point, because a lot of times people perceive that in order to get an SBA loan, the first thing they do is come to the SBA, when in fact the first thing that they do is go through their bank.
Got it.
We actually recommend that firms, entrepreneurs, start with the bank that they're already banking with.
Okay.
Talk to that bank about what their particular need is for financing. Understand the value that those banks and that banking officer will be able to help them understand what their particular financing needs are and how they can best satisfy those needs. And then in a lot of cases, one of the solutions is to come back and get an SBA loan.
Now, let me just ask a question there. So not all bank, do all bank work with the SBA, or just a specific categories?
Not all banks do, but we have a very, very large contingent of banks here in the greater Washington area who do work with us, and many of them are what we call our preferred lenders.
Got it, okay.
And so our preferred lenders have access to the SBA in a preferred way, allowing them to often use a lot of their own forms, a lot of their own processes. They have less need to come to us for approvals for things because we've delegated more authority directly to those banks.
Got it.
And that helps speed up the process for the borrower.
Okay, so we have the preferred. So that means we also have those who are not preferred.
Right, but they're still certified lenders.
Oh, okay.
So they still work with us, but maybe in some cases, instead of being able to make a decision directly, they'll need to consult with us on certain eligibility criteria or certain aspects of the loan.
Got it. So that's the difference between preferred and the other people.
Correct.
Got it.
Correct.
Okay. Very good.
So it starts with a conversation between the entrepreneur and the banker, and then once the bank and the entrepreneur get together and complete their loan application material, the bank will make a decision if they'll fund it directly in-house or if they'll want to go with an SBA loan. A lot of times they'll want to go with an SBA loan, and the borrower will, because the terms and the conditions that we offer are a little more flexible. They offer more advantages in some cases in terms of longer repayment periods. Maybe there's a better rate structure that's associated with the SBA loan. And some of the products that we have are such that in some cases it's a difference between whether a borrower gets the loan approved or if they don't get the loan approved.
Now, the SBA loan means there is a backing of the government behind the loan.
That's correct.
Meaning if the customer defaulted, were to default, the government will step in.
Right. So
is that what that is?
So yeah, right. So we guarantee the loans anywhere between 50 and 90%, depending on the type of loan that the borrower is getting.
Okay.
So the idea is to help with that guarantee, give the bank more assurance that they're not alone when they take on that particular credit risk.
Okay. Got it.
So once the bank makes a decision to send it to SBA, then we'll get it and we can make the approval along with the bank, and then the borrower gets the money that they need. Okay, good. Which is ultimately what they're looking for.
Okay, good.
One of the other things that our new administrator has really stressed with us is the need to make sure that SBA is a visible entity in terms of being a market maker. So, and a market maker means a lot of things, but in our case, this means trying to help entrepreneurs, small business owners, find ways to grow and increase their revenue base. Because that's as important as capital is, being able to grow your revenue through additional sales and diversification of your sales base and your customer base, that's a very important piece too. So I could share some information related to our government contracting programs which are part of that market maker approach.
So are we now on the third C, or?
We're on the third C. Okay. Exactly. Right. We're on the C of contracting.
Okay, good. All right.
That's a great point. So under contracting, and we've got a slide that shows the types of certifications that we have. So there's two ways to think about the certifications. Those that are self-certified, meaning the entrepreneur, the business owner, makes the distinction and certifies that they are a certain type of entity.
How do they do that?
They do that online through the SBA portal that allows them to then indicate which type of business that they are. So it's an online.
So they just put in their qualification to whatever the situation is, and then if they fit those qualifications, they still can certify.
That's correct.
Okay.
Right. So, for example, if a person is a women-owned business, they can self-certify that way. Okay, if they're a service-disabled veteran, they can self-certify. So it doesn't require SBA to do anything because we know that individual know that that's who they are. Okay. You know, that's what their qualifications are. On the other hand, we also have certifications through SBA, and two of the programs that require our particular approval before you can say that you're certified as such an entity are the Hub Zone program and the 8A program. So the Hub Zone program stands for Historically Underutilized Business Zone. Okay. And that is a geographic designation whereby there is a typically census tract based where there's been lower levels of employment, higher levels of unemployment, that the income levels in that particular community are less, and some of the opportunities that would be desirable for that community haven't been realized. So the government has an identification system that lets us establish which communities, which census tracts are hub zone. And the great thing about a hub zone designation is that if you're a company that is designated as a hub zone company, when the federal government agencies make contracting awards, they will, in some cases, hold aside certain awards and they'll target hub zone certified businesses. Okay. So it gives those companies a leg up. The other part that we really like about it is it's an economic development program because if you're a hub zone firm, either your company is located in the hub zone or the majority of your workplace activities takes place is in that hub zone. So we're creating economic activity in a lower income census tract in a higher income or higher unemployed area.
Okay.
And additionally, with the Hub Zone program, 35% of all the employees who work for the company are to reside in a hub zone. It doesn't have to be the same hub zone. So now we're trying, so now we're trying to create employment opportunities for persons who are probably underemployed or in some cases unemployed based on those particular census tracts. So it's a great economic way to boost the community and the economy.
Gotcha. Okay.
Likewise, we certify for the 8A program, and the 8A program is a business development program that's really designed to help firms get access to federal government resources, contracts. It's a 9-year program. One of the
What do you mean by 9-year program?
So you have 9 years to be in this program. So
the whole process take about 9 years?
Once you get approved and certified, you have a period of 9 years to participate in the program.
Okay.
And once that 9-year period is over, then you're graduated from the program.
Oh, I see.
And you no longer have that designation.
I got it. Okay. Okay, I got it. Okay.
Now, a lot of people hear of the 8A program and they get excited because they've seen the success that a lot of firms have. And so we encourage people to consider the 8A program. We also encourage them to consider it at the right time. Because you only get one shot, you only have one 9-year period in your entire life.
I see what I mean.
You want to make sure that when you apply for the 8A program, that you're positioned
the timing is good
to be successful in it.
Well, can you give us some example of good timing then in those matters? What would be a good timing for a business?
Well, you want to make sure that you've got a book of business that you've already established. So you don't want to necessarily jump into the 8A program
from day one
just because you're eligible after 2 years. Because you may not have really established relationships with some of the federal contracting agencies. You may not have demonstrated that you can perform on a federal contract. And so just merely having the 8A certification doesn't mean that when you open your door, contracts are going to fall in.
I got it.
You still have to develop the relationships. You have to build the relationships with the contracting officers, with the different program officials that you may be needing to work with, and to be able to demonstrate that you can perform on a federal contract.
I understand.
So firms that do best in this program are ones where they've been able to be established. They've done work, they've been able to demonstrate it at a local maybe or at a private sector level, and then they've now grown to the point where they're in an 8A capacity, and when they go to a contracting officer and say, I want to put a bid in for this particular program, this is who my company is, this is our capabilities, there's more to them to offer than just having the 8A certification.
Gotcha. Basically, they have some background, they have some experience, they have a production record.
Yeah, they've got a book of business that they can refer back to, and they've got referrals, people who can say, yes, we've worked with this company before, and they performed very well on the contract.
Okay.
So those are important aspects. One of the other things that I think it's important for people to know about us in a market maker role with government contracting is what you'll see on this pie chart. So we have, every year, the federal government spends between $400 and $500 billion. And
billion with a B.
Billion with a B. So that's a lot more money than most of us ever get to see. And so $400 to $500 billion is quite a bit of money. And
that's a lot of money.
We have targets around some of those same categories that I mentioned before in terms of we've got a 23% goal for contracting, that all the federal government procurement activities, that 23% of those are targeted towards small businesses. Okay. So that's a way to help use the federal government to boost the income level and the revenue base of small businesses. We also have a subcategory goals for service-disabled veterans and small disadvantaged firms of 5%. So, for example, the 8A firms pretty much all fit in with the service-disabled, the small disadvantaged number. So we're targeting successful 8A firms in that category. Okay. And then there's a goal also for women-owned firms and for hub zone firms. Both of those are at the hub zone's at 3%, and the service-disabled veterans at 3% as well. I misspoke earlier. So the goal was, again, to try to make sure that the federal procurement dollar is reaching each of those market segments effectively. So that's a big push of ours, and we continue to work closely with all the federal agencies. Our district office does outreach events with those federal agencies in partnership when they go around the communities to inform business owners about the possibilities of federal contracting.
Okay. Do you know of any challenges the small businesses have in getting into this program? I realize they are there available, yeah, we say that, but are you aware, or do you know some, so you can talk about it or give them some tips on how to get over this?
Well, part of it's competition. Because there's $400 to $500 billion, there is always a lot of interest in companies looking to be able to get access to the federal marketplace. So what we find is that basically there's a three element criteria.
It comes in threes.
This makes it easy, right? People, the contracting officers, they like to do business with people they know. Can't blame them for people they trust. So being able to know somebody, being able to trust somebody, and people they like, it's relationships.
It's natural in our business. It's nothing to do with just government contracts.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So merely responding to an RFP may get you in a position to be successful, but it works very well when you also have had an opportunity to contact some of those contracting officials.
It leads me into what we're all about, networking, building relationships.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Networking is so critical. A lot of the federal agencies and the prime contractors do the same, hold business matchmaking programs.
Yes, that's true.
And these are great sessions because it's a way to get access in a short window of time with multiple contracting officials from many different federal agencies, enough so that you're able to introduce yourself to them, explain a little bit about who your company is, what your capability is, having an elevator speech ready to share with the official from the agency, and then them getting a chance to assess and understand who you are, so that when an opportunity comes up, they're thinking about you. And if they see your information come through, they've at least got a touch point, a relationship piece. Ultimately, still, it's going to come down to what the bid is, what the experience is that the firm brings. But this relationship piece is always very, very important. So we encourage that greatly. The other area where we're really focusing on being a market maker deals with the international markets. And international trade is just such a huge opportunity.
Where did I read that somewhere? I think on one of your slides, talking about 96%, or what was it?
Yes. Of all the world's purchasing activity is outside of the U.S.
96%?
96%. And we tend to think in our Eurocentric view that everything revolves around...
We start here, stops here.
Yes. So...
Wow.
Here's a number also that was impressive when I saw it the first time, and it still sticks with me. Whereas in the federal marketplace, it's $400 to $500 billion every year that we're contracting. In the international marketplace, $2.3 trillion was our U.S. export totals last year. So that means the buying power outside of the U.S. is very, very substantial. Yes. And so for the companies who are looking at a way to diversify their revenue base and grow their revenue base, the international is a great way to do it, particularly if you're a government contractor. Some government contractors are very focused exactly on the federal marketplace, and diversification means trying to get a contract with the Department of Defense, trying to get a contract with NASA, trying to get a contract with Homeland Security. Many of the other firms are now starting to see what the availability is of growth potential in the international markets. So what they're doing is they're looking at business abroad. They're looking at how they can get access to contracts with whether it's the government of another country, or if it's a private firm that is looking to purchase a product or service. And what I like to tell people here in this community, because we've got a very advantageous marketplace here in the greater Washington area. And we've been able to develop a lot of firms through government contracting, through private sector contracting, who have been able to build strong businesses. And so if a firm is able to really do well and to provide goods and services to the federal government satisfactorily, and then likewise maybe do the same thing with a large corporation, whether it's a Raytheon or a Lockheed Martin or a Bank of America, then they've now established that they're a strong, reputable entity, company that can do business with the biggest of entities around. Even if you're a company and you've worked with one of our large counties, Fairfax County, for example, that's pretty significant work experience that the company has to show. And now when you go internationally and you say, okay, well, I've done business for the United States Department of Agriculture or the Treasury Department, or you've worked with one of the DoD programs, that means a lot because your credibility is very high, because American credibility for the quality of work and the ingenuity of our entrepreneurs and the ability for people to think of creative new solutions to problems and to think of those solutions before everybody realizes there's even a reason for the solution. Those are really good things, and it helps position firms very well to be successful internationally. So we encourage that to take place. In fact, part of the President's National Export Initiative is this whole goal of doubling our exports by encouraging persons who have businesses to at least try to export to one country if they've never exported before.
Gotcha.
And if they've exported before, or they're currently exporting, well, let's, instead of going and exporting to one country, let's add a second or third so that we can continue to grow the company, the small business. And the added benefit, the real nice piece about exporting is that when we are successful with exporting, now we're bringing new dollars into the local economy, into the U.S., because now there's funds that are paying for those contracts from a country that's abroad. So it's a real big push, and it's part of what we think helps make a company successful, is having a diversity of revenue sources and being able to just grow and continue to move their company forward.
Okay, good, thank you. Here, I want to mention, folks, for you guys, thank you very much.
Oh, sure.
For all this valuable information. I mentioned a couple of times networking and what have you, because we host a monthly breakfast event right here in Fairfax at the Old Town Hall. And you can find information on our website, which is blnbc.com. We have them once a month, generally the third Thursday of the month. And also twice a year we put on an expo. In fact, we just had our last expo, the 10th anniversary, last Friday.
Yes.
The SBA was there, well represented.
Yes.
And our next one will be on November 14 here at the Stacy Sherwood Community Center.
Great.
So I want to thank you very much for coming.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, now we have a great program we can pass out to people so they can understand better what SBA is all about.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.